We're gonna play librarian. This is going to be linked below. It's not sponsored. I just genuinely love this and I think it's so fun. This is like a library scanner, so I'm gonna be scanning all my books and organizing them into this website called Libib. I don't know how you say it. You can also get an app on your phone for it, and you can organize all your books into whatever category you want, as well as many categories as you want. So I can put Frankenstein in favorite books, as well as classics I've read, as well as books I read in 2024. And once you scan them, you can also move them to different categories. So if something's in your TBR and then you read it, you can put it into a category. You can organize it by 3-star, 4-star, 5-star reads, like as many categories as you want. This also works with records, board games, all different kinds of stuff with barcodes, so you can organize as much stuff as you want. But a lot of people know it is my dream in life to have a home library, and this is just such a cool way to sort it all. There are some of the books as well as here. I want to put my TBR here in the middle. These are my favorite books, and these are just books I think are really cool. Up there I have my books kind of color-coded. I have random stacks of books. These are the amazing books I got for Christmas. I did a really cool book haul on my TikTok. I'll do another one for you too. This here plugs into your computer. I imagine you could get a sort of extension to plug this into your phone as well. This is what's going to give you that wireless connection. If you are not on Wi-Fi, it can also store barcodes. So you can scan them at a store, have them on here, and then transfer them to your computer later. Really all I did was plug this into my computer, go onto the website, and start scanning, and it just works. I don't know if I'll get to it in 2025, but I do really want to read it at some point, so let's scan. Has to turn on. The book on the taboo Against Knowing Who You Are by Alan Watts. This is going on to my favorite books of all time. This is why this is a very great exercise, because I totally forgot I even had this. Oscar Wilde, The Importance of Being Earnest. I think this should go into my read in 2025. There we go. Basic Writings of Nietzsche. I hear his name pronounced in so many different ways. This should be my TBR in 2025. I got this, you know when people have book libraries and you can put in a book, take a book, it's just for free. So I got this from one of those. I don't know if I'll ever get around to it, so I'm just gonna put it in my TBR in general, and then if it stays on my shelf for too long, I might also then put it back in a donation situation. Gosh, see, I totally forgot I had Virginia's Orlando, but I tried to read this when I was first starting out with classics and it was way too difficult for me. So I think now that I've read quite a few more classics, I think I could enjoy this. I also read the love letters between Virginia Woolf and Vita Sackville West, and I know that that is a moral dilemma. Is it okay to read letters of people who are no longer here? Probably not, but I did really enjoy them. So I'm going to put this on my TBR in general. Jeez, this is the coolest thing ever. Great Expectations, Charles Dickens. I actually have not read any Charles Dickens yet, which is surprising considering I love classics. Elena Ferrante, In the Margins. She has a series that I really want to read that everybody raves about. Wrote this, In the Margins, on the pleasures of reading and writing. We need to talk about this because Call Me By Your Name is one of my favorite movies. I have like a visceral reaction to it. It's beautifully shot, it's amazing, it's heart-wrenching. Like mixed feelings about how I felt reading this. I have to tell you guys the craziest story. Hold on. Last night I was talking to my friend and she was reading a memoir. She thought it was a memoir that was from Amazon, and it was like a ChatGPT version of a memoir that this person was selling as if it was the real copy, and that just scares me so much. Like, how is that legal? How is that listing even still allowed? Just be careful what you buy on Amazon. It scares me a little bit, but I mean, bookstores are more fun to explore anyways. So here is Emma by Jane Austen. I'm gonna put this on my TBR in general. I have an absolutely stunning copy of Pride and Prejudice, and this is going to be my TBR in 2025, so I'll probably read this one before I read Emma. Gosh, this book is incredible. Creative Act, A Way of Being by Rick Rubin. This book is life-changing, and I think I have like this much left of it, and I never finish it. It's one of those books though, I don't think you need to sit and finish it all at once. You can kind of pick it up when you need it, and somehow I always pick it up when I need it, and the chapter is something I've been contemplating or something I needed to hear. Barcode is a sticker that I've taken off, so you can also input things manually. A picture of Dorian Gray. But I also have a beautiful copy of it because I wanted it on display. This is definitely going into the favorite books category. But I also have a section for classics I've read, so it's going to go in that section as well. Here's the current situation, but we're going to reorganize everything thereafter. This is just so funny how everything looks right now, but I feel like you guys need to see it a little more. I'm gonna move you back. Putting Catcher in the Rye on my TBR for 2025. I hear extremely mixed reviews about this book. I do think this would have been something I probably would have enjoyed in my pre-teens or teens, just judging, like I've read I think 30 pages of it and I never finished this book for some reason. I feel like the narrator would have been more relatable to me when I was like younger and more angsty. However, I can empathize and probably still enjoy it. So, notes from Underground and The Double. I just finished Crime and Punishment. I'm extremely proud of myself for finishing it because it was like 650 pages, and as my first time reading Dostoevsky, it was challenging at times, but I'm happy I did it and stuck with it. This book, it's another one I got from those book libraries. It's called The Snow Child. Something about it just feels like it's gonna be cozy and a good winter read. I have not read this author yet. I believe she also wrote The Atlas Six. Yeah, it says it right here. I really want to read this author, actually. I'm so glad we're doing this together. I totally forgot I even had this book. It's closer to the bottom of my stack. I've just added this section, nonfiction read, and then I also added general fiction and classics that I've read. This book has always intrigued me, The Wonder of All Things. It's been on my shelf for a long time. I was loving this book. As you can see, that's how far into it I was, and you might be thinking, how did you only read that much of The Nightingale? I have a much cooler angle now because now it's like you're sitting with me, you can see what I'm doing. I got cut off in talking about The Nightingale. I did enjoy this book. Books about war, just very hard to read. Even though this is a historical fiction, I just like can't wrap my head around the fact that stuff has gone on in the world. It's really hard for me to process. There was an incident in this book that made me just not able to keep going with it at the time, but I'm going to put it on my TBR in general because I do want to finish it. Tale of Two Cities by Charles Dickens. Wuthering Heights is going on the 2025 list. I actually got this copy in the UK at Waterstones. I have just learned what Waterstones is, and it was an amazing experience going there. I had started Wuthering Heights, but I got so many good books for Christmas that I had to put this one on the back burner for a moment, but I will get to it. Letters to Milena, I would love to finish in 2025. I've gotten so far into it and I love Kafka, but it's one of those ones that, I don't know, I found the love letters between Virginia Woolf and Vita Sackville-West kind of just held my attention more, mainly because you could see the exchange back and forth, whereas this one, it's only Kafka's letters. You never see Milena's responses, so that kind of throws me off a little bit, but they're just beautiful letters regardless. And I also, on my books to buy, I want to have Kafka's journals. This is on a lot of people's lists for either being one of their favorite books and just memorable, incredible, so this is going on my 2025 list. The Book of Disquiet by Fernando Pessoa. Daphne du Maurier's Rebecca has been on my list forever. I'm so excited that I finally own it. I got it for Christmas. Orbital I just started today. I've heard incredible things about this book. I'm about halfway through Near to the Heart by Clarice Lispector. No Longer Human. I'm so excited for this one. I'm gonna bring this one to the UK with me with my Swiss man. We really enjoy reading together, which is like my dream to have in a partner, so it's very fun. Okay, I have a good reason why I couldn't get through this book, because I thought it was so beautifully written and captivating, and Donna Tartt is an incredible writer. I thrifted this copy, but it was making me too sad because my mom's my best friend, and just because the story is based around someone losing their mom, like I just couldn't do it. So I hope to get around to this one, but it was just depressing me way too much. Courage is Calling. I read this when I broke my leg, and it was very helpful. There it is. I don't want to be too ambitious and say that I will get around to this book here in 2025, but I would love to at least attempt it and read this in Nietzsche. Oh my gosh, I have to show you. I also got this for Christmas. How stunning. It has gold pages, and it is a collection of Edgar Allan Poe's tales. One of my favorites, also a fellow Capricorn, and I have a really cool story about Edgar Allan Poe. I got Edgar Allan Poe's selected tales in Edinburgh when I was there with Swiss Man, and he picked a totally random book off the shelf, and as we were reading in the park, so I'm reading my Edgar Allan Poe book, he is reading his book, and on the first page of his book it mentions Edgar Allan Poe. And we always have very interesting synchronicities like that, and we were both on page 5, so very cool. George Orwell's Why I Write. I listened to this one. Incredible, life-changing growth mindset versus fixed mindset. Have to put this in my nonfiction that I've read. I have 2 copies of Brave New World, but this one's Amazon. I'm a little nervous that it's not a legit copy, but the cover is just so beautiful, and I got this one at a bookshop. An awesome book. I actually really loved this book, so now I'm just organizing it into a pile. Books I've read and books, my like TBR in general. TBR 2025 is going here under my favorite books. Add Brave New World. I have 2 copies of Inferno. I bought this one first, but I think this one has a little bit of explanation at the start of each chapter to help you read along with it. Gorgeous copy of Pride and Prejudice. This is like amazing. I am so happy about this right now. This is one of my favorite books of all time. If you've never heard of this woman before, she's incredible. She survived a plane crash. She survived 11 days in the Amazon by herself after a plane crash. Another book I would love to read in 2025. I don't know why there's a stain on it, this far into it. The Count of Monte Cristo. Surprisingly, have still not read Dracula. One of my favorite writers, also on my TBR. I've had this book for a very long time, and I think now that I'm pursuing music, I'm definitely going to try and get around to it this year. My mom brought me back this beautiful collection of poems from Iceland. This is such a beautiful book. I highly recommend it. I read this and it was beautiful. I love Kurt Cobain. I actually have a Nirvana tattoo. Here is the organization so far. These are my favorite books. I'm going to figure out what I want to put here. Books that I think are cool. These 2 are my TBR for 2025. These 2 are TBRs and just books that I would love to read eventually, and that is books that I've read. And I know it's short, but these are also all the books I've read, and I've read a lot from up there as well, but I'm gonna organize those in another video. It's been a couple of hours, but I had so much fun organizing my books so far. I'm definitely going to keep going. Oh, I want to show you this beautiful copy quickly that I found of White Nights. This is also on my TBR for 2025, but I ran out of room on my shelf. This is so much fun. Like I said, I will link it down below. Highly recommend. I love bookshelf tours and organizing bookshelves, so I hope you liked this as well, and I will definitely have more coming soon. Thank you for being here, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye!